All right, welcome to On the Run, FloTrack's video show. I'm Kevin, joined by managing editor Jenny Zahn and sub 30-second 200-meter star Gordon Mack. On today's show, we are talking about 2 American records in the distance races, 1 world record in the steeplechase, a revitalized men's 800, a classic women's 400. Guys, I think this weekend was the best weekend in track and field for 2018.
Oh, agree. I absolutely agree. And even like at the lesser meets, you know, like look at Morton Games, really good performances there. And yeah, so much Diamond League action went down this weekend. Highlights across the board.
It's going to be a spectacularly fun show because in the off year we get used to just kind of grasping at straws a little bit, Gordon.
I would disagree. This was not the best weekend of the year of
Always
2018.
gotta have a hot take.
Already the contrarian.
Yes.
You going with NCAAs?
No, I'm going with the first weekend of February where the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Oh,
So
there it is.
That's what I'm going with.
There it is.
Wait, didn't he say best weekend of track and
Track and
field?
field.
in 2018?
It's track and field. It's an athletic event.
Yes.
So, boom.
There
All
we
right,
go.
people in the comments,
we won the
us know
Super
how
Bowl.
you feel about Gordon.
We won the Super Bowl. That's all that matters. Anyway,
We
let's
will
talk about track.
Let's start big picture first before we go, individual race by race. Overall, what was your big takeaway? London Diamond League, Monaco Diamond League. We mentioned Houston. You mentioned Morton Games. There was a lot to pull from. Overall, what was your big takeaway, Gordon?
Go with it. I'm going to ride this train until 2020, and I'm going with Emmanuel Carrere is the next GOAT.
Okay.
You know, he's going to be the next David Rudisha for his next 6 to 7 years. That guy, he made Nigel Amos's 142 from the previous day look like nothing. He smoked him, runs 142.05, but more impressively, the way he did it, his last 200 meters was like a straight-up sprinter. Mm-hmm. It was insane. I think, provided he gets perfect pacing, he's on pace to break Rudisha's record.
He had the head bob that last 50 meters.
That means he's going. He's a 44-second. He's a 43.400-meter runner. I
like the trademark head bob. Like I want that to become his thing, just like Michael Johnson had the upright running style. Emmanuel Carrere last 50 meters. My big takeaway, when Shelby Houlihan won pre and when Shelby Houlihan won in USA's against
Talking
Jenny
to the
Simpson's,
mic, right?
Yeah, we're fine. I think
Okay.
we're good. We had a lot of discussion on the show, like, did Shelby supplant Jenny? Is she the next 1,500-meter star in the U.S.? And I think after running the 14:34 in Houston, like, Shelby Houlihan is the face now of U.S. women's 15 and 5,000 meters going forward. Doesn't mean that she's never going to lose a race between now and 2020 or 2021, but she's only 25 years old. She has the speed. She has the endurance, clearly. Now she has an American record, potentially another one coming up in Birmingham with a 1,500. So it's just sort of reaffirmed my belief in Shelby Houlihan. That was my big takeaway.
Say that to the face of Jenny Simpson. Say
I know.
it directly
So she
to her.
also ran a really fast mile this past weekend.
Right. Not taking anything away. The U.S. is just getting better and better, but I think Shelby coming into her prime. Again, she's only 25 years old. I think this is the tip of the iceberg. I look for her to set the American record in Birmingham. I look for her to win the 1,500 Diamond League final, and then that's just going to catapult her right into 2019. Jenny, your big takeaway.
So my biggest takeaway was that we are in for some serious rivalry for a number of years between Emma Coburn and Courtney Frerichs. So it would have been a little bit different, I think, if she would have just beat her and not beat her PR and also grab the American record. That would
Right.
be different. So now I think this is really setting them up. They're both at the same level. Courtney obviously has the edge right now, but that doesn't mean that Emma won't come back. And I think they're going to be trading off the American record for a couple of years to come, several years, actually, hopefully.
That's
exciting.
That's gonna be spectacular because now there's mystery every time they race.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, it was great to watch those two run because they were in the best in the world and they were running so fast. But now there's just a question every single time they step on the line about who's gonna win it.
And also, it gives me even more motivation for Emma to want to PR again because a lot of times for Emma, breaking the American record was just PRing. So I feel like an American record to Emma didn't mean as much because she owned it and she was just constantly just breaking it herself. Now an American record means everything to her because she doesn't have it anymore. So
Yeah, and both of them keep dropping references to wanting to go sub 9. And so, you know, I think it's great. Set this up for a lot of fun.
So top performer, let's narrow it down a little bit. Top performer of the weekend, we're going to talk about performer, top race, biggest surprise, and the most overshadowed. Those will be the 4 categories here. My top performer, Beatrice Chepkoech from that steeplechase race. I don't know how you pick anybody else. You see her there clearing the barrier. Form wasn't great, but she ran 8:44. She broke the world record by 8 seconds. She went out in 2:55, then a 2:54, then another 2:55. I mean, talk about overshadowing an American record performance. You had to be
Seriously.
really in tune to what Courtney Frerichs was doing back in the pack because of how far ahead Chepkoech was. By the finish, guys, I mean, she was 100 meters ahead. We're working on something for the site, trying to put it in context, just how quick this time is. One stat I've stumbled across, like 8:44 would have made the NCAA men's meet in the steeple, which
Wow.
isn't a thing that happens very often.
So
for-
that was obviously toward the lower end of the qualifying spectrum, or like
Sure.
how? Yeah.
No, 844 would have been ranked in descending order list. Would have ranked her 10th.
Oh.
Is that counting NCAA?
So
Not
it's-
counting NCAA's,
Okay.
but
Okay, I was gonna say.
all right, I'll switch it up. I'll make it count. As
Gordon's first stat error of the show comes in the B block, or C block, which is a little disappointing. But yeah, I mean, like I was at the West Region meet, and I know how fast those guys were going because the weather was great, and they weren't pulling any punches or holding anything back. It wasn't like a tactical race. You don't see
Right.
tactical races that often in the steeple.
She
Anyway.
would have been tied for 21st, tied with none other than Michigan State's Max Bonneau, the senior. So Max Bonneau watched that and was like, this woman just tied my mark of the season.
And she did it with only company for 2.5 laps, right? Rabbit was
Yeah,
gone after
yeah.
1,000 meters,
Yep.
and then it was Chepkoech all by her lonesome. Just insane performance. Ruth Jabet, the woman who had the record before, coincidentally under investigation now by the Athletics Integrity Unit for doping. So if her performances go away, then you're going to have the number one performance be at 8:44, and then the number two performance would be somewhere like 8:58 or something like that. 8:50. I mean, it would be an even larger gap. Don't know if that's actually going to happen with Jabet's performances, but I mean, just an incredible race. Gordon,
my top performer?
your top performer.
The top performer of the weekend goes to none other than Jacob Engelbertson.
Oh, you're still putting the L in his name.
Yep.
I like the L.
No L.
No,
Inga
L.
Brickson.
Engelbertson.
There you go.
Engelbertson.
Yeah. There you go.
The kid doesn't take many L's.
The
so you shouldn't
kid-
put any L's in his
Oh.
name.
He doesn't
So,
take L's.
Jacob, you
Some
can use that one
wordplay
if you
there,
want.
He
like
gives
Kevin
out
Sully.
the L's to others, including Paul Cholimo, Matt Centrowitz, multiple. He's been Matt Centrowitz how many times this year? Twice. But 331, insane. The kid's 17 still, right?
Yes.
Not even 18. I don't know. It's not like a lot of times people think like when a young athlete, like East African athlete, is running fast, they're all like, oh, it's because you're East African. He's just a European guy who's just running 331 just because he's good training and good genes and all that stuff. So I think Ingebrigtsen,
There you go.
I won't add the L. Ingebrigtsen is going to be the guy that a lot of high school kids and middle school kids are going to see and be like, hey, he ran 331 as a 17-year-old. I shouldn't be trying to break 4 anymore. I need to start be running sub 355, 352.
Yeah. You didn't mention, though, he wasn't even the first family member in that race, though.
I know, but he's the one that I want to talk about because he's 17.
I just think it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he almost broke 331. What are your thoughts on his potential? Do you think he is going to win a world championship in the next 3 years?
Win a world championship?
I think if you would have asked me that several months ago, I would have said, I don't know. I think he's just riding a nice wave of improvement. But no, I think that he's going to be a factor in the next couple of years.
He's got obviously a lot of things going for him. One, he's in that family, so he's been
Yes.
exposed to high level training and high level racing at a very early age.
And he's used to being a celebrity. Check out his reality show.
Yeah, he has a reality show. He races. He's a pretty savvy racer for how young. I think we'll see him. He's almost just like a ramped up Alan Webb, right? Like Alan Webb really started dropping quick times when he was that young. Would I expect him to be dominant into his 30s? No, because it's just hard to be at the top and running high level performances that long. But if you're asking me 19, 20, 21, and then even 23, 24, yeah, why?
Well, I'm talking the next 3 years, 19, 20, 21.
I think
Yeah,
next
he ran
year is-
331.
You think he'll win?
I don't think you'll win necessarily. I wouldn't pick anybody right now to win the 1500
It
because
depends
there's
on
just
how
too
the
much
race
question.
plays out too,
Yeah.
but
Will he make finals? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I want all of them in the 1500.
And they go the sweep?
I know
That's a
Henrik.
sweep.
I know Henrik likes the 5, but I want Henrik, Philip, and Jacob all to be in the U.S. You need to talk about the World Cup. Oh, team competition. I want U.S. versus Ingebrigtsens in the 1500. I would watch that, and then U.S. versus Ingebrigtsens in the 3K, and then we just keep rolling out our best.
It must be weird to be one of the greatest runners all time in your country, or even all time as your age, but you're still not. You still I bet you he would rather run slower and have a faster PR than his brothers than run it fast and have a slower PR than his brothers.
Yeah, that's a great point. Jenny, your top performer. So I went with Chepkoech. Gordon went with The Little Britain, you're going to go with.
Noah Lyles, because he literally performed out there with that crazy backflip, and he somersaulted in like Willy Wonka. And I also want to call out that I was the one who made that comparison, and then Gordon put together.
It's beautiful. Look at that.
So you're saying I did the work.
Yeah,
and
you
I
did
put
the
it
work,
together.
but it was my creative power behind it. Yeah, so he literally performed, hence he was the top performer. But also, he threw down 1965
Right.
in the 200. This kid's on fire. He's my top performer.
Number 8 all time.
Yep.
I was nervous.
Ocho.
I was nervous when he did the backflip. I'm not gonna lie.
yes.
I saw him
wasn't.
lining up for it. Like,
I-
oh gosh, this could go wrong.
So I was nervous, but also it's fun to see someone like just enjoying track and field and having
Sure.
fun out there and
I
like
get-
hamming it up for the fans. I
They're
think it
not
adds.
fragile. They're not like.
Well, also he's young enough too where he can bounce.
I'm
back,
risk
but-
averse.
We know you're risk averse. That's
a
why
principal-
you picked the 800 in
I'm
our AAU challenge.
exactly. And I missed horribly. I'm a parent. Like I'm just looking at it like if I was his agent, I'd be like, yeah, let's just dance. Keep both feet on the ground. Just
Okay,
dance. Don't do
how
flips.
do you think gymnasts do their thing? They jump up and they can break their ankle easily.
Well, that's
every time they
necessary
jump.
for their competition.
Oh, okay.
It was extraneous. I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just being completely vulnerable and open here. When I saw him line up and look like he was into it, I was like, oh god,
Well, a lot of people shared your thoughts. I saw a lot of people talking about that, saying the same kinds of things on social media.
They're all
so.
wrong.
I just don't. I love that he did it.
More
and,
jumps.
And
Get
now
that
that
double
he's
backflip.
And now that he's fine, he's good.
Wheel a trampoline out there next time.
Top race of the weekend, Gordon.
Chalimo 5K victory. The guy's been needing a win. This guy Chalimo hasn't had a major win. I mean, it's his first Diamond League win, I think.
It is.
And I think he's due for it. I think he is one of the best runners right now. Now that Mo is gone in the 5K, and I think this shows that he can win. I feel like he was kind of be like keep on losing to Eldris or to Yomif Kiljelcha. So I think this puts him back on the map, gives him that confidence boost to say like, hey, I'm going to win in 2019.
It was weird this year. He didn't have that many victories, and something always like that Peyton Jordan 15. It was Ingebrigtsen. Then that pre-2 mile was weird because the pacer went out in 4:20 when they were supposed to run 4 flat. He got one here, and I think it's kind of interesting that he got it in a tactical race.
Yeah, and he also because there was a tactical race. 3K was it 3K they went? Yeah, 3K was kind of tactical. It's just like Yomif just like had a huge surge.
Oh, you're
that
talking
no
about the
one-
week before.
Yeah, the week before and no one could respond, so the gap was too much, and then Chalima was like, all right, I'm running in no man's land.
Yeah, I think he's better at the 5 than the 3.
Yeah,
I
I just think that he kind of was more prepared after seeing what Yomif did in 3K, and now he's really learning his competitors, and now I think he's gonna win the Diamond League final.
I think he's a front runner by nature too, so it
Yeah.
kind of puts him in a weird position. Oh, I want to take on the pace, but also I got to have something left if someone kicks. My top race of the weekend, that women's 400 in Monaco, was everything we thought it would be, with Shanae Miller-Weibo going under 49 seconds, 48.97. And Salwa Eid Nasser took her all the way to the line, 49.08. I mean, two of the best performances of all time. Miller moves into the top 10 now. We hadn't seen a sub 49 since 2009 when Shania Richards-Ross did it twice. So, I mean, just a justified PR for Miller. Like 49.44, that was her old PR. We all knew she was better than that. So it was cool to see her put it together. And it was awesome to have someone right on her shoulder, even though she's like a lot shorter. So she was like not on her elbow.
I was
basically.
really impressed. She really didn't really give her an inch. I
No,
mean, she
Nasser was
stayed
right there.
right on her.
Yeah.
So that was a very exciting race.
Was that your pick too?
That was going to be my pick.
That's fine, we can
but I
both
mean,
be
we're,
right.
we're doing biggest surprise next, so I guess we can just move on to the next block.
Yeah, which block letter is this?
Yo, this
Gordon?
is the block E, yo.
This is-
E for
block, yo.
elephant.
Okay, so don't do that again. E block, biggest surprise of the weekend. So you can't just say, oh, everybody ran
Surprise
fast.
with the elephant.
Yes, that's one way to put it. Surprising. We'll start with you, Miss Zahn.
Okay, how could you not pick Beatrice Chepkolich going 8:44?
No one had 8:44.
No one thought that was going to happen going into this race. Like, I was excited to watch it, but mostly for the American element. And then, out of nowhere, we get a world record. Like, what was her PR heading into that race? I can't remember.
58.
Yeah, that's
58, 59, yeah.
that's wild. The margin of improvement, and then on top of it, just to like take that into world record territory is insane. So that was definitely by far my biggest surprise.
Yeah, mine was going back to the 800. Gordon mentioned Emmanuel Carrere at the top, as he's contractually obligated to do as president, CEO, founder,
Of the Carrere
CFO of Emmanuel Carrere Foundation and fan club.
And Saruni's in there too.
But Clayton Murphy in London, 1:43, his second fastest time ever, was in a very close race. He prevailed against Wyclef Kinmayal of Kenya, just behind Career. Man, I did not see Murphy getting back this quickly to it. He's told us that he's ready. He's told us that he's feeling better. He won USA's, but 143 this year is a very good sign.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
And just looking back at where he started this season to now, I certainly didn't see it. I didn't think it was in the cards. And then also considering, like, indoor season, too, like, not much racing. And
Yeah.
But this indoor season actually was good. He just was super unlucky. He happened to be in the first heat at USA's.
Yeah.
Drew Windle, and it was a slow race, and only the winner goes.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah,
but even still, I mean, it's uncharacteristic from Clayton Murphy as we know him at this level currently. So
Yeah. But he timed it perfectly this year. I mean, he's peaking at the right time. I guess he'll run a couple other ones. But I thought 142.9, his PR, the run he ran at the Olympics when he medaled, was going to be something that maybe he'd get back to in 2020, or maybe that would just stay as his PR, and it'd be a great time if it did. But now it's looking like he hasn't really missed a beat. He's going to be right back there. Gordon, your biggest surprise?
I wasn't really surprised about the world record because I was like, whatever. You're breaking world records.
By 8 seconds? Didn't
Yeah,
surprise
I
you
know.
at all?
whatever.
I don't know.
Fastest of all time.
Gordon turned over his card and it said 8:44.
I don't know. I just feel like there's some, not to say fishy, but maybe something's fishy about some of these East African.
Unless you say the
sneakers.
Monaco track, are they full?
Monaco track is short too, but
Yeah.
I was more impressed. I was more shocked to see Courtney beat Emma,
Yeah.
and not only beat her,
Yeah.
but also break her PR and her American record. So that was to me the most shocking thing because we all were thinking Emma's going to break 9, Emma's going to break the American record, Emma, and then Courtney does it. So.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's nothing against Courtney. It's just like, Emma has.
Oh yeah, she's been the front runner in this event for a long time, and
And so it gets me excited. Like you said, you're
Yeah.
excited for that rivalry. Now I'm like, sweet. Now there's no like guaranteed like. Whenever we do picks for steeple, it's always like pick Emma first and then the 2 Bowerman women after.
Yep.
Now we're like, now we gotta like, who's actually gonna win?
so my
Like, who's
question
gonna win 2019 USA's?
my question here is,
yeah, exactly.
going into this race, Coburn was 11-0 against Frericks and steeples. So now she's 11-1. Like, can we use the word rivalry now?
Yeah, so because for the reasoning I provided, it's because she went and not only did she surpass Emma Coburn's PR, but she also grabbed that American record.
Right, right.
But I'm gonna play devil's
One and the
advocate
same.
because
For the
I was
first
in
time.
Monaco when Shannon Roberry broke Jenny Simpson's American record
Oh, I
in the
remember-
1500.
I remember that.
And I asked her in a post-race interview, Jenny, I was like, what are your thoughts on Shannon, this rivalry? And she's like, actually, I've beaten her like every single time except for like a few times. There's really not a rivalry. And I was like, that's a good point because when someone is so dominant the way Jenny was in the 1500,
Yeah.
the way Emma is in the steeple, you get beat once and all of a sudden we want to
Call it a rivalry.
Call it a rivalry, but like maybe you got to get beat back and forth to make it a true.
And the way she got beat, like in a Diamond League race where one was 100 meters ahead, like that was a bizarre race time and time again. Was that Simpson interview the greatest actually in the history of women's distance running?
I was like, oh, is she mad at me? And then I like went to her like later that night. I was like, hey, I'm so sorry if she's like, no, it's fine.
She's like, no, I meant it.
I meant it.
Put a
But
hashtag
it was
in front
good. No, but it was true. I mean, she wanted to.
It was factually.
I like it when people do that in post-race interviews.
Factually
Give it to you
accurate.
straight.
Yeah, exactly. So with the world record, with the American records,
With Emmanuel Courier.
with Emmanuel Career, with Michael Sturdy withdrawing in Monaco, we didn't mention that. For Gordon, the overshadowed performance, the performance that just didn't get the love that it would. But in on any other weekend, maybe it would have. Who was overshadowed this weekend?
Drew Hunter. He ran 3:35. PR. He's the second fastest American this year in the 1500.
Where did you do it at? That's a
He
picture
did not
from
do it-
Boston.
He did not do it in Boston. He did it in London. I couldn't find a London photo. But that's
On the
him.
streets.
Again, that victory in Boston in April.
It's incredible that they're running. You ran a PR in the streets
Hey.
of Boston. And
I was looking for
Over the
photo, couldn't find it.
cobblestones.
yeah,
Anyway, but Drew Hunter, 3:35. How old is he right now?
21.
No.
No,
I
20?
don't think he's 20. I think he's 20.
He's got to be 20, right?
He is. I'm looking it up.
Here
He
we
was
go.
Born September 5th, 1997. So he's about to turn 21.
21.
Yeah,
So he's
20.
20.
Yeah.
3:35.
He's almost the same age as Noah Lyles because Noah Lyles just turned 21.
So I think Drew Hunter showing improvement in these first 2 years as a pro, I think, is huge.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, sometimes a pro might not be able to adjust, but he's adjusting fine, and I think he is setting himself up well for this 3-year arc of World Championships.
Yeah.
Going in with a nice PR of 3:35, I think is going to set him up well.
My overshadowed performance came from the London 200-meter race. Jenna Prandini and Gabby Thomas went 1-2, and they both PR'd. Women's 200 probably gets the least amount of attention this year compared to all the other men's and women's sprints, because in the men's 100, you got really big names. In the men's 2, you obviously have Lyles. Women's 100, collegiately, you had Aaliyah Hobbs going after the collegiate record, and then internationally with Shippers and Thompson and Okabare, et cetera, et cetera. The 200 have been a little bit ignored this year. So for them to pop those times, pretty impressive. And also, I mean, Gabby Thomas now has run at least one meet every month since December 2017 in a row. And she's still racing, and she runs a PR at the end of it. Beats the time she ran in Miami, I think, back in April. So it didn't get much talk, but I think that could be something next year when you're looking at who's making teams. I think Prandini and Thomas in the 200 are going to be towards the top of that list. Your pick, overshadowed.
Kenny Harrison.
Sticking with the hurdles.
Lead.
I like it. Hurdle purist. Here.
Yep, exactly. Gotta keep it close to home as a former hurdler. So, she went 12:36, and that put her just ahead of Brianna McNeil on the world descending order list. She has the number 2 time at 12:38, and she also finished runner-up to Kenny Harrison in that race in 12:47. No world record.
Sure.
But, still a really hot race. And, it was overshadowed. World lead. No one's really talking about it.
Right. Well, yeah, you had to do a world record or an American record or something.
Or be named career.
Or be the best performer of the last, decade to get noticed. But that was a loaded race because women's hurdlers,
Shrieking
they're
Nelvis
not scared.
ran really well there, too.
Yeah, Nelvis, Harrison, McNeil, Danielle Williams ran there, Christina Manning. I mean, it goes without saying, but those women just race each other every week, which is awesome. They don't hide from anybody.
Yo, guess what?
Last segment.
It's time for the G block.
It's time for the
Named
G.
after me,
No,
Gordon
it's
Mack.
not.
The G block.
It's not.
ICYMI, the In Case You Missed It segment. Let's start off first. Here, Gordon, talk us through this one.
Boris Berrien, 145. Welcome back.
Rolling that clip.
Look
There
at
it
this.
is.
There it is.
Where was this at?
This was in Dublin, Ireland.
Okay,
at
no
the Morton
accents.
Games.
Just okay, good.
Was it Dublin? It's
I don't
Dublin,
know if
right?
it was Dublin.
Yeah, Ireland. No, yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. I
think I'm
don't
right.
listen to me.
But you see him taking that victory. I think when I was watching this, we all thought he's going to die and run 149 or something like that. But because that's what he's been doing all season, dying either.
He goes out
dropping
hard.
out,
Yes,
Yeah, he
he's
goes out
running.
hard.
Yeah.
runs like he's going to run a 144, then runs a 152.
He holds the pace as long as he can. He doesn't.
And here he actually held it to a 145. And hey, now he's going to get another full off season of training.
Right.
And he's going to come in being hammer to run 144s consistently, and then pop a 143 when it matters. So
We could be back to Murphy v. Berrien again, just like we were in 2016.
Yeah.
2019 could
But
be.
It's possible.
They're throwing a healthy Brazier.
Yeah. No, Brazier and Murphy are never going to race. You've been
yeah,
through
true.
this.
Andrew Windle.
Yeah. You've showed the receipts of that. Yeah, it was crazy. It just looked like a fitness issue the last 50.
Yeah.
So I think it's even more promising than the time would indicate. But yeah, good run there.
Did
Next-
we mention it? That was his fastest time since the Olympics.
Fastest time since the Olympic semifinal, season best by over 2 seconds. So he missed all of last year. So this was really the comeback. You know when they say, "Oh, people, so and so is back," and it's like, okay, they're really back. Like this is him being back.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is.
He's
For
running
sure.
a time that puts him like, hey, I can be top 5 in the U.S.
Yeah, exactly. And if it wasn't for all the other crazy stuff, I mean, like if Murphy ran a 144 again, then you'd be like, oh wow, this guy's gonna contend. He still could. Justin Knight, Syracuse alum, star, 3-time NCAA champion, is joining the Reebok Boston Track Club. If you don't know what the Reebok Boston Track Club is, well, that's okay because it just got formed
Brand new.
this week, and they're gonna be training in Charlottesville, Virginia. There's Mr. Knight there trying on those new Reebok kicks. Chris Fox, his coach at Syracuse, will be coaching him and heading up that group. The group also includes Kamoy Campbell, Martin Hayer, and Tori Gerlach. Gordon, your thoughts?
Well, I was just actually last night thinking about this Boston Reebok group, and I was like, who else is going to join?
As you lay in bed
As I
trying
lay
to
in
sleep.
bed, I was. This is actually
Sean Kemp,
and I was thinking, all right, first of all, they're training in Virginia.
Allen Iverson. Oh,
All right.
oh, Allen Iverson's
And I was
from
like,
Virginia.
And I was like, who is also like, they don't have like an American 5K runner yet, like a strong 5K runner. Like, who's an American 5K runner who's not signed?
When you were doing it, were you doing this?
Yeah, I was doing it. Who's not signed, who's about to go
While you're
pro
lying down.
somewhere, and would love to go back to Virginia because that's where they're from.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I know what
I know
you're
what you're
going
going to
with
say.
Sean McGorty. Because Sean McGorty go back to his roots and train with Justin Knight.
Interesting.
The 1-2 punch.
1-2 punch from NCAAs. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Do you mean anything other than just hypotheticals?
No, just because he's from Virginia
Location.
and they're training in Virginia, and they'll be like, hey, yeah, and it's like good for Knight because again, they're not competing for world team spots because Canadian and
Yeah,
America,
they're gonna
so-
need more people.
Yeah,
They're not gonna be able to.
because they have Jamaica, Canada, and U.S. Like they're gonna start getting Americans because they can get anyone in America. There won't be a conflict of interest.
Sure. Although Bowerman Track Club has shown that conflict of interest don't really matter. Those all get on the team.
Yeah.
Just
So they only have
All
two
of
per
them.
event though.
sweep all the spot. That's true. Finally, let's close out this segment. Sydney McLaughlin
Oh my God.
hasn't raced since NCAAs, but she's doing this. This is incredible. On a unicycle overhead. She said this was her 36th attempt?
I couldn't do that if I tried it 300 times.
Slowed it down there. That was
Show it again. Can we show it again?
Yeah, roll the clip.
Loop this all day if we could. Yeah, again, just like I'm nervous with Lyles doing flips, a little nervous here, but she's an expert on the unicycle.
The youngins don't care.
Well, here's the
They're
thing.
out
I
here
mean,
living
Where
life.
is that from that's from the 3-point line? Do you think?
Here's the thing. Obviously, this is not a one-take effect.
No, she said 30. She was transparent
she
about
said-
it.
Oh, how many?
Okay, look, hold on.
36.
36
We
attempts?
can see where the toss is from. Is that that's like 3-point range? I feel like you can't see the 3-point or the
That's like a
free throw
three-point,
line.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, and she even does it in stride on the unicycle. You know, she's
Yeah.
still mid-pedal.
That's
It's incredible.
good job. Is that more impressive than 52.75?
No. As a former 400-meter hurdler.
As a former unicycle basketball player,
Yes,
let me
can
let me
you weigh in?
disagree with you on
Well,
that,
no,
Jenny.
hold on. 52.75 ranks what all time?
13th, I believe.
Okay. Think about how many people can ride a unicycle,
Not that
and how
many.
many people can put on two shoes and run.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, that's not all that's
there are
involved.
more people. I think I don't know. I mean, guess what? It's number 10. Is it like 10 all time?
I think it's 13.
13.
That's in
So
performance.
13,
I don't know. the number.
13 people. Say 10.
It's
But
too-
she's
yeah.
gonna.
10 people have run that time, right, or faster. How many people have thrown a basketball behind their back
That's-
into a
I'm
basketball
with
hoop
you on
a
this.
unicycle?
But I think she's
don't
on
think 10
track to beat the world
Well, that-
record.
I'm talking about. We're talking about that time.
I know.
You give
but
Sydney
just-
time, she could do that in one take, I
Yeah.
think.
So
Yeah.
You really going to count her out?
I
True.
think Sydney might even be like, yeah, 10 people have done this, but I'm the only one who's ever done this. So
She can juggle too, right?
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know. I think less
can
people
juggle.
have done that than have around 52.
She's
75.
tied for 9th all time.
So yeah,
with
I think
Shamir Little.
Well,
you
hold
cannot
on.
find 8 other people.
Do
who
the
can just
Harlem
do that.
Globetrotters, do they do this
They don't.
stunt?
They don't know how to ride.
I don't think they can ride a
They don't?
unicycle.
Okay. Well, so I'll just say there might be a whole crew of guys out there. who can
Well,
I
do
think
that.
that
well
she
done,
needs
Sydney.
to update her bio and be like, I am a backwards unicycle riding 3-point making
I can't stop watching it.
athlete.
All right. Well, congrats to Sydney on the shot. We're going to leave it there. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Stay locked into the site this weekend. We have live coverage from the AAU Junior Olympic Games. Gordon's
If you're
peeling
in
the
Des
tape
Moines,
off
stop
the
by and
episode.
say hi to me.
Oh,
I'll
ow,
be there.
That was painful.
Oh, it's hairs.
That was painful. Also, watch Gordon
Oh my God.
and me try to break AAU records
Oh, yeah, it's
in
on
a
the site.
video. It's on the site. You can check that out. We'll talk to you guys next week.